Hello, this is Caleb from Jacked Rabbit Electric Bike Mod Co. And today I'll be showing you how to install your new wheelie bar for the OG Jackrabbit. First up, we're going to grab our T25 Torx key. That one looks like a star on the ends with a hole in the center. And we're going to go remove this bolt that is directly above the kickstand and silver. We're going to turn that counterclockwise. Now that we have that bolt off, we can set it aside and move to the next one, which is going to be the bottom disc brake bolt. There's two 5mm Allen keys, a short silver one and a long silver one. I recommend using the long silver one for this because it gives you better leverage for removing this bottom bolt. Now let's start that off and go counterclockwise again until it's out. Now that we're done with that, we're going to discard this bolt. It will be replaced later. And we're going to grab the black 4mm Allen key and one of the black M5 bolts. And what we're going to do is we're going to chase the holes on both sides of the bike to ensure there's no debris in there, and it will require flipping the bike around and checking both sides and making sure everything's nice and straight. Now let's begin assembly of the wheelie bar by grabbing the left and right wheelie bar pieces. The left one has this additional hole in it and this little nub on the top, whereas it's absent on the right one. Now we're going to grab your axle, which is an M8. We're going to stick it into the right side, and we're going to grab the wheel, which will be misaligned and not fit at first, but that's an easy fix just using an Allen key, which I will show you now. So we're just going to wiggle that around, get everything nice and straight. Once we have it straight, the wheel will slip right on. Now that we have the wheel sliding on, let's grab an M8 washer, slip it on, slip the wheel back on, grab the other M8 washer, stick it right on top of that sandwich. Now we're going to take these two pieces and stick them together while holding that bolt up and through, and then grab the M6 axle bolt, which is already thread locked, and just screw it in. We want this nice and loose. We do not want to go tight yet, but we also don't want it to be so loose that it slips out of the hole. Now that we have that snug, we're going to take the right side and flip it back, and we're going to be working on the left side. So let's grab our spacer, our isolator that matches that spacer, stack those two together. It's going to go frame, isolator, spacer, wheelie bar. This will just prevent your frame from getting scuffed, and that will all be sandwiched together. Now let's grab two of our M5 bolts, the washers for that, which are M5 washers, and we're also going to grab some Loctite after we stack these two together. Now we have the bolts stacked. We're going to grab that Loctite. You will need to snip the end of it off. You can use a knife, snips, or scissors, whatever works for you. It's a little messy and likes to ooze, but it's a big safety feature. So now we're going to drip that onto the tips of the bolts. We need it to be where it's engaging with the threads, so towards the tip. Let's slip these Loctited up M5 bolts into their appropriate holes, which are the two smaller ones towards the bottom. Then we'll grab our spacer, stack that on top of there, and then we'll grab the isolator and stack it on top of that one. After that, we'll hold it up to the frame, get the holes aligned, use the knurled part of the bolt head to help us thread it into the hole just to get it started, and then we'll go into the second one and just get those snug before moving to the Allen key and getting them a lot more snug. We still want to have enough play where you have this up and down here, so we are not tightening anything yet. After that, we're going to grab the M6 bolt and the M6 washer, and we're going to throw some Loctite on there too. Again, we don't want any of this coming off. And we're going to put that into the top large hole. I like starting it off with the small M5 Allen key, or 5mm Allen key, and then moving to the large one to have it. And again, we're going to make sure that we have a little bit of play here. Now we're moving to the other side. It's basically the same process, but only with the M5 bolts and the M4 Allen key. Again, always want to Loctite and have those washers on, and make sure the isolator is in between and that we are rested up on the flange, which I will illustrate in a different shot. Now that we have it on, I'm going to push it up and then onto the flange so that we're not stuck on it. You need to be against the frame flush and not caught on the lip of the flange. Now we're going to just tighten it up. Again, snug, not tight. We want a little bit of this wiggle. Now I'm going to lift on the rear, and we're going to finish tightening up these guys to their final tightness. You are tightening into aluminum, so don't strip it. I tried to leave enough bolt on there for you to get a little bit of nut if needed, and you do end up stripping, but ideally you won't. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. This last step was easier to show off the bike, so we're just going to tighten up the rear wheel. You'd have this on the bike using your two M5 Allen keys on your axle, and we're just going to get this nice and tight. You actually want it tight here, and the spacers will prevent it from rubbing on the frame. Now we have that done. You have a ready to go wheelie bar and have some fun wheeling. Have a great day.